Mario, second time, this time is going to be amazing. So, again, thank you for coming here. And yes, can you make a brief intro about yourself, about how you're involved in esports, in education, everything you do, basically? Yes.
So, well, Ivan, thank you so lot for having me again. I know this time we will do much better. Well, my background, actually, I'm a esports professor at two universities in
Okay.
Bogota, Colombia. In both universities, I create the whole structure in esports in two different ways. The first one is to create an sports culture as an esports practice. So all the students that already play or an esports, they came. We structured the whole session of training session for them, and we try to make them think better to their mindset change through the training session. And at the final of the semester, we want to create an esports culture that they feel and they know that they need to eat better, to sleep better, to train better. Not just repeat, repeat, repeat. That is the most common thing that happen in esports. That all the players sit down and repeat all the days the same thing. We try to change that. We try to break that paradigm, and we try to make them train better. And the second way, we create a lesson, a specific lesson who goes through all the semester, that is esports industry. So we teach every kind of esports every week. So they, at the final of the semester, they will know what is a MOBA, how is the training structure of a MOBA, how is the management or the business management of the MOBAs, the FPS, Battle Royale, Fighters, RTS, Rhythm. And we go through every kind of esports and we explain how they work. So at the final of the semester, they can know the whole structure about the esports. I create the first esports school in Cundinamarca. We call in Facatativa. It's a small city in Cundinamarca. But right now we have 40 students, and we teach them through cycles. For example, during the 2 weeks, we teach them MOBAs during 2 weeks. We have in 2 weeks six training sessions. After that, we begin the second cycles and we go through shooters. Again, six lessons of shooters. We go through battle royale. We go through fighters. We go through real-time strategy. We go through sports simulators. We go through rhythm, and we begin the cycle again. After we finish all of them, we go to MOBAs again, and we try to teach them and another specific topic. And so in the whole year, they can know much better about the whole esports structure. And when we see that one of those students are really, really good, we go through that phase two, that we take all these good players, all these good athletes, and we start to train in a different way with them. So the phase one is go through all the esports, and the phase two is to train in the specific esports that they are good. So that's what we do. I create the first curriculum in esports in Bogota with the Esports Institute of Bogota. So we reach three hundred students in divide in five schools. So in every school we have 60 students, 60 to 70 students, and we reached 300 right now. I have an esports team called Gamer Society. With my team, I try to create a specific methodology of a training. We want to make something different to know if the sports players um, get much better in a different ways. We try everything every time to break the paradigm, to make the things different, to try to improve how to train, how to analyze the tactic sessions. We try to implement all of that, and that's what I do. That's why we are here.
Amazing, amazing. And what are the what differences do you teach them in this esports structure in between, like between MOBAs, FPS, and the different genres?
Yes. For example, Ivan, we what we did was to deconstruct the esports,
Okay.
and we deconstruct the esports in four structures. So we took, for example, MOBAs. Okay, we have MOBAs here, and we said, what do the athlete needs to know in the technique way? For example, when you want to train football, when you talk about technique, you need to how to pass, how to dribble, how to shoot, how to defend, right? The same happens in esports. In MOBAs, you need to know how to farm, how to move, how to make the mechanics, how to know the economy of the game. If you don't know all of that, you cannot play the esports. The same happen in traditional sports. If you don't know how to shoot, how to pass, how to dribble, you don't know how to play football, for example. So we did the same in esports. So we say, okay, first week, MOBAs, we are going to make training sessions in how to farm, how to make a last hit, how to move, how to make the mechanics of every specific champion. And after that, we go through the second structure, that is the tactical structure. So when the students know how to move, how to the knowledge about the champion, we go through, okay, we are going to know how to rotate, how to make the macro game, how to prepare the objectives, how to communicate. So we teach them that. After that, we have the third structure, that is the physical structure, because when you go through a training session of 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, you need to have a strong body, because when you are sitting, for example, your core is contracted, your neck, your arms need a good position, because if you go through 3, 4 hours and you are weak, you start to go down with your performance. So if you are very strong person, your performance stay in the high level every time, because you don't get fatigue, you don't get stress, you don't get tired, because your body is strong. So we take at least 20, 30 minutes to train physically these kids, the athletes, the students, to understand that they need to be stronger every time to be better at the sports. At the fourth structure, we have the emotional structure. We know that the esports stimulate the management, time management, resources management, leadership, team communication, teamwork. We know that, but we take a specific time of the session to explain that, to explain them. Okay, in MOBAs, you need this. For example, assertive communication. You need leadership. You need teamwork in MOBAs, but maybe in fighters they don't need that. They need creativity. They need emotional management. They need assertive communication. So we teach them which life skill they need to be better at the esports. So we make all this construction in all the genres. For example, in shooters, we teach them how to have a good aim, a good crosshair placement, a good mobility, and we did do the same in all the genres, sports simulators, in fighters, in battle royale. So that's what we do.
Okay, amazing. And one thing I put down here. Okay, so how do you communicate with the parents when the kids are interested in doing your curriculum or going to the university to study? Like, how do you communicate the parents that many times are the ones that also are very like in the decision of the kid, either financially or like, like you're gonna do this or that. So like, how do you communicate to the parents the benefits of what they're going to study in skills they can transfer to an like, yeah. I'll let you speak.
They need to understand that one is for to study, and the second one is to have a project life in the esports area because they can be athletes, they can be casters, as you know. And for those, you don't need to go through a university, but you need to study and to understand the whole ecosystem. But the first thing we do with the parents is to teach them and to tell them that that esports is an sport. It's not just uh, to have fun or just to waste the time. When the parents understand all the benefits that to practice an sport, they say, okay, tell me more. They say, okay, tell me more. Why, how is going to my son? Don't waste time. Don't only have fun. How is good to my son will be a better person through esports. So we teach what I already told you. We tell them that all the benefits. We tell them how they are going to understand, how they are going to know, how they are going to go to the teaching process. And the third thing that for them is very important, we take them out of the house because usually the people try to teach everything online, but we already know that these generations don't show the camera, don't open the microphone. So every time they are looking at the black mirrors in a training session online, and and the things that we want to stimulate doesn't get in a good shape. So the things we said the parents, hey, take out the kids of your home, bring them to a specific environment to know and to teach and to go through a good process of esports. Because when they go to a physical space, they change their behavior. The kids start to talk to each other. That yeah, this doesn't happen online. When you are giving a lesson online, they should talk to each other. They just listen to you. But when they are in the physical session, they talk about other things. Their behavior change. They are more relaxed. They don't get too stressful so easily. They don't get frustrated so easily because they know that the person sitting next to them is feeling the same, and they start to empathize with the other people. That doesn't happen online. We already understand that we need to take them to a physical space and to train together, to see their faces, to talk to each other, to make the whole strategy, the whole the tactical session together. When we want to talk about feelings, they are more open to talk about them in physically, not online. And when the parents see this and they go to a physical session, they say, "Oh, this is amazing. This is different." Because right now I'm looking at my kid make a different behavior, acting different. I and they feel more happy at the final. When we ask the whole students, I have at least 1,000 answers about this. Hey, how do you feel better? Coming here and play physically or in your house? No, teacher, here because here I can know who is my partner. I can talk to them. I can go and eat with them. I can go and have a coffee with them. So that makes that the person change and the parents says, okay, I see this will help my kid, so I will support you And that's why right now we have all these kids in our programs, because we already show them that we have benefits, because we have a specific structure. It's not repeat, 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 and it's not to tell the parents leave your kid in front of a screen 6 hours, because that's what they see on the houses. They see their kids sitting in front of the screen 6 hours, 7 hours, and they don't know what is happening. But when they took to the physical spaces, to the classroom, they feel more comfortable. The parents start to make all the confidence with us. They feel more happy because they know that their kids are being stimulated in a different structure. So that's has been our successful, I think.
Amazing, amazing. And now going to the university side, how do you talk to universities, and how do they trust you for you to implement this? Because I bet, okay, like there's a lot of educators, that would love to know what you know of how you accomplished, like integrating esports curriculum in universities. Like, how do you do that?
Well, it's mostly the same, because when you have, for example, a rector, or you have an administrative person, they usually don't understand what is esports.
Mhm.
And it's normal. They are in another generation. Yeah, they haven't made a block. And when you tell them, hey, look, this right now is an sport, and this can be training as a traditional sport. So you can do almost the same, but in a digital space. So what we need first of all to know how many of your students already play an instrument, because it's a number that when they see that a lot of people play an esports at the university, they say, oh, it's more people than judo, it's more people than volleyball, it's more people than baseball. When they see this number in the first time, they say, oh, I have more students playing an esports than a traditional sports.
Yeah.
They take that seriously. They say, okay, something is happening here. That's the first thing I say to the university. So the second part is, okay, what are we going to do when we have 20, 30, 40 students? I tell them we are going to train like this. And when they see the training session, the semester structure, the whole year structure, they say, okay, it's like a normal sport. Yes. So we need to understand this as a sport. It's not just repeat and sitting in front of the screen, because that's what they thought. They only see a kid pushing the buttons in front of the screen, but they don't know what is happening. But when you tell them and when you teach them, hey, that we are going to do this in this way, they say, okay, what we need? We need consoles, we need computers, we need tablets, cell phones, we need a specific space. Yes, we start to see at the university in which space we can make the specific space to train esports, because it's really important. Um, After that, when they see that all the students start to go through to the training sessions, they start to say, "That's what happened to me." Okay, teacher, how we can take this to a lesson through the whole semester, because I need to, or they want that the whole community understand the esports or the video games in a different way. We need to break the paradigms that is just for fun and it's just for wasted time.
Mhm.
So we create the esports ecosystem lesson to teach the whole students. For example, we have low school students, we have designers, we have architectures, we have topologists, sociologists, because maybe the esports industry can influence or can maybe be a working point for their careers. So when they finish, an architecture will say, "Oh, esports works like this. How can I be an architect in esports? Or how can I be a lawyer in esports?" So break and make a very big picture of what they can do when they finish their careers. So we giving them a more ideas. So the universities already we open at least 5 universities. I cannot teach in the whole of them, but I open this structure in the 5 universities. But I capacitate, I teach other teachers to make the things what I do to make it to do in the other universities. So that has been the talk. That's what we have been making here, and the other specific and most important is to understand that usually because it's what happens. Usually, the sports simulators are not the most popular games because they usually say, okay, we're going to open esports, put eFootball or EFC or FIFA because they think that because football is popular, they are going the sports simulator is equal as popular, and that doesn't happen. We need to understand what are the most popular games of the country or the city and go through that most popular game because that will make more successful the program. So that's what we do, and we need to make that they know how many students play esports in their institution.
Great, man. And another topic that when you were talking about universities and how you implemented the curriculum in five, the theme that we talked before here in live, okay, about the government, okay, and all the work that you're doing with the government, so they consider it a sport and how that's gonna benefit the esports ecosystem. I don't know if more governments have done something similar. It's the first time I hear it, okay. So I really want you to explain that, like what you're doing, your work with the government, because that's amazing, and hopefully something someone in another country can get inspired and reach out to you and see if they can do the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. When we go through the process in Colombia to recognize esports as an esport in our country, was in the same way. We have a national system of sports, right? So that system is we have at least 80 sports that everybody knows: football, volleyball, basketball, yeah, and they have an sport structure. We try to make the law to esports can fit as a normal sport. That's what it do. So when the government sign and recognize it as an sport, so we say that is really important because right now in this stage, the esports are not sustainable because usually the private money is finished can make it's not forever, but when you have the support of the government and when you tell the publisher, hey, we are the government, we want that our kids practice esports in a good way because that is a core of the law. We need to create an sports culture in esports because that is a problem in the whole world. Usually, these kids have problems emotionally of sadness. They are really lonely. But when the law became recognized, big part of the law is how we are going to make these kids more healthy. We need to take them sports and healthy because that goes together. So what we want to understand that the other countries are doing, for example, Ecuador, three months ago, they are going through the official recognition of esports as a sport in Ecuador. They are making the law, but this happened in the whole world. So what we need is that the public or the government understand the esports as a sport. They talk to the publishers, hey, work with me. We can work together because you need people practice your video game, but we need these people who will be healthy and can be a good project life for them. So we have in Colombia the law recognizes in two specific ways. The first one is all the video games that impact in a traditional federation, for example, AAFT, that is football. When something is going through, take AFT, go through the Football Federation of Colombia. And the same happen in basketball and in tennis. But the other ones, that is mobile, for example, League of Legends, shooters, go, we need to construct, we need to create the National Federation of Esports in Colombia because we don't have it. That's what we need to take. We need to create the organization, the institution who will run the whole esports in a healthy way, in a good culture. And after this, we need to have an international body that runs esports for the world. But if we want that to happen, we need
Yeah.
that all the tell me, Ivan.
With that, okay, apologies for interrupting you, but like with that came another thing. So, how many international bodies are there, and what do you think needs to happen so we get into like one main one?
Okay, right now we have three international bodies. The oldest one is ISF, International Sports Federation, was created in Korea 15 years ago. The second one, 8 years ago, was a Global Esports Federation, yes, that was created in USA, if I don't forget. And the third one is the newest one, was created 3 years ago, that is Esports Foundation. I think everybody knows about the Esports World Cup and right now the Esports National Cup. These three bodies exist right now. And each body has his own World Cup and has make the things to stimulate and to promote the esports as a good practice. What we need, Ivan, is that the International Olympic Committee recognize one, because as you know, we depend of the International Olympic Committee because it's the associated sports figure internationally. So as soon they recognize one, we will have an international body to run esports in the whole world, like happens with FIFA, with FIBA, and with the old sports. So we need that recognition. For example, why don't we have why we didn't have Olympic esport games? Because we didn't have an international esport body who runs the Olympic cycle. Because the whole sports they need a cycle. The games in the country, national games, regional games, continental games, world games, and after that, Olympics. Because the Olympics will have the best of the best, right? But we don't have an international recognition body. So we are waiting for that. We are waiting that as soon they recognize one, that body can make the whole cycle, Olympic cycle, to have Olympic sports games. And after that, that specific international body need to promote on the whole countries to recognize one organization or one federation for specific countries, and that federation need to be recognized for the international. That's how the esports normally works, and that's what is going to happen with esports.
Amazing. Like here, I'm learning a lot. You know, even I've been like in esport recruiting for the 5 past years, and there were still a few things, you know, that I didn't, you know, how to mind. So amazing. Hopefully, yeah.
For example, if I can say it, in the whole countries, usually are one, two, or three institutions that want to run esports in the country, and could be that could be a problem in the country. That's why we need this international body to be recognized faster, because we need that body only recognize one in each specific country to leave the esports work with a good flow, because right now the whole sponsorship, the whole brands doesn't know who support. So, for example, Coca-Cola, hey, in Colombia you have three institutions that says that are going to run the esports, but I don't know who I want to support because you don't have a one recognized. That's happening in the whole country.
Maybe when the government, when there's more structure, maybe the government will be the one that says, okay, this one is the official one, right? And the other
That
one,
that could happen. That could happen, or that you can make a federation from zero. As soon the government recognizes you the esports as an sport in the country, what as a normal associate sports works, you need to create clubs. As soon you create clubs, these clubs can be leagues, and as soon you have 3 4 leagues in the country, that leagues can create the federation.
yep,
That happened in the whole sports. So that's what we need. We need, as soon as the government recognize sports, people start to create legally their teams, their clubs. They can work together to create the league, and after 2 3 4 leagues, they create the national federation. That's the process.
amazing, amazing. Mario, is there anything that you wanted to cover that we haven't covered? I mean, I loved, like what you said about like esports education, like from the students' perspective. Then we went to the from a university perspective. Then we went to like like the government internationally. Uh, I mean, is there anything else that you think the audience like needs to know?
I think it's one thing we have missing that is happening right now. That we are now going through Esports Nations Cup. That is the first international competition that we nations. But this competition will have 40 million of prize pool, $40 million of prize pool. We've never seen this kind of money supporting countries, right? But we, as a country, to compete in that competition, you need to have the best of the best as a coach and as a player. But to have the best of the best, you need to create a specific structure to dictate the talents, specific talents. And after that, you need to create a structure to know which leaders, for example, the coaches, the analyst coach, the whole staff, if they are prepared to be the best of the best of your country. That is, we didn't create that in esports too, because in esports usually people say that, oh, you are challenger, you are a talent. Maybe yes, maybe not. If you are playing the game through 10 years and you already are challenger in only 1 year, you are not a talent. But if you in 2 years you get to challenger, maybe you are a talent. We need to create the specific topics to analyze which player is really good and which player is not that so good, because that usually happens. Usually the teams, the clubs, doesn't make a good tryout process because they only see, this kid is challenger, is Ryan. I suppose it's good. Hey, come here, play with us. That doesn't happen in football, for example. We need to create a structure to detect talents. We need to create the whole structure for the grassroots, because this is one cup. For the second cup, we need these good talents to represent the country, because maybe the ones we have right now will be not so good in 2 years. But in esports, we don't have that sport structure. So, okay, we have this kind of talent. How we are going to work with them to be the best in 2 years? How is the process? How we are going to create it? How we are going to take this kid to prevent the lessons, injuries, to be at the best performance in 2 years? Because a problem that we have in esports is that usually the whole athlete's career is maybe 2 years, 3 years. And Faker is another thing. Don't talk about Faker because it's only one example. He has been in the top level 10 years. But usually the 90% of the players finish in 1 year, 2 years, they stop playing. That is not normal in sports. So we need to create that. And I think with this competition, the whole countries have to create how to detect the talents, how to show the best talents or the best players in every country, and how to have or develop a good staff, how to develop coaches, how to develop analyze, how to develop psychologists, how to develop nutritionists in esports, because the whole countries were different, but we need to create that. And I think this is a good opportunity to create it, because right now I am the national team manager for Colombia to recruit, to know which are the talents of our country, to take them to the Esports Nations Cup. Because if my country, one player or one team can make $100,000, that will change his life in my country. We need to work good to change the life of our people through esports. That's what we need to do.
Amazing. Mario, thank you so much for your time and all the knowledge. I hope to repeat this talk soon.
No, Ivan, thanks to you for your time. Thanks for to want to listen to my experience, want to listen to what I did. I hope maybe someone who listen to us. I'm going to be next week in Montenegro talking about what I do in esports, of what we do in esports. So if maybe one of you can go to Montenegro, I will wait for you there and to talk about esports and to start creating the whole structure.
What's going on in Montenegro?
Montenegro, we are going to have the Montenegro Futures Festival. There is a specific event that we will have esports, education, blockchain, technology, because the Montenegro want to become a hub in development of all these structures. So in the specific esports panels, I will be part of them. So they usually invite people from around the world to share their ideas, to share their experience, to create really that's what the meaning of the event, to create a good or to establish a good starting point to work in the whole world. That's what the Montenegro Futures Festival is doing. And this is the third edition. Is the third edition. The person behind this is Felix Stock. Felix is the person who is running the Montenegro Esports Alliance in the country. He is the person who wants to make that Montenegro become a hub in esports and in education and technology in the region. I think he's doing it because he's the only country in the whole Balkans who is doing it. So I think it's a good event, and that will make bigger and bigger every time.
Amazing.